breaking news. TikToker Perez Hilton shows serious mental health issues during live stream. Police rushed to the scene. TikTok creator and celebrity blogger Perez Hilton shocked viewers.
For years, he made a living talking about everyone else's lives. Every celebrity breakup, every Hollywood scandal, every leaked photograph, every public mistake. Few people shaped celebrity gossip in the 2000s as much as Perez Hilton. At his peak, millions of readers visited his website every day. His posts could influence careers, dominate entertainment headlines, and turn relatively unknown celebrities into household names overnight. To some, he was fearless. To others, he represented the worst side of internet culture, a time when outrage generated clicks, and public humiliation was often treated as entertainment. But the internet, that helped build Perez Hilton's career, eventually became a very different place. Social media replaced blogs, algorithms replaced homepage traffic, influencers replaced gossip columnists. And over the years, the man who once seemed impossible to ignore found himself trying to stay relevant in an online world that had moved on. Then, in August 2026, concerns spread rapidly across social media after a live stream involving Perez Hilton prompted viewers to contact emergency services. Authorities responded, he was hospitalized, and the incident sparked renewed conversations about mental health, online platforms, and the pressures of living life in public. Public statements from his family later confirmed he was receiving medical care, while TikTok removed his account following the incident. This is the story of Mario Armando Lavandera Jr., better known as Perez Hilton. How he built one of the biggest entertainment websites in the world. How controversy became both his greatest strength and his greatest burden, and how one of the internet's most recognizable voices found himself at the center of a very different conversation. Long before millions of people refreshed his website every morning, there was simply a young man growing up in Miami, Florida. Mario Armando Lavandera Jr. was born on March 23, 1978, to Cuban-American parents. Like many children of immigrant families, education and hard work were emphasized from an early age. Friends later described him as intelligent, ambitious, and deeply interested in entertainment. Movies fascinated him. Television fascinated him. Celebrity culture fascinated him even more. He attended Belen Jesuit Preparatory School before earning admission to New York University, where he studied acting. At the time, Hollywood, not journalism, appeared to be his destination. Like countless aspiring actors, he hoped to build a career in entertainment. But breaking into acting proved far more difficult than expected. Instead of becoming the star on screen, he gradually discovered another opportunity: talking about celebrities, not performing beside them. The early 2000s were a completely different internet. Facebook was still in its infancy. Instagram did not exist. TikTok was years away. Traditional entertainment magazines still controlled celebrity news. If something happened in Hollywood, readers often waited days, or even weeks, to learn about it. Blogs changed everything. Publishing suddenly became immediate, fast, personal, sometimes reckless. In 2004, Lavandera launched a celebrity gossip website under the name Perez Hilton, a tongue-in-cheek reference to socialite Perez Hilton, whose fame dominated tabloid culture at the time. The name itself attracted attention. So did the writing. Unlike traditional entertainment reporters, Perez Hilton wrote as though he were speaking directly to readers. He used sarcasm, humor, nicknames, and often harsh criticism. The site quickly became impossible to ignore. Every morning, celebrities themselves began checking the website. Not because they enjoyed it, because they wanted to know what Perez Hilton was saying about them. Traffic exploded. Soon, millions of readers were visiting every month. His website became one of the largest celebrity blogs in the world. Advertising revenue poured in. Television networks invited him for interviews. Magazine profiles followed. A blogger, once considered an outsider, had become one of Hollywood's most influential commentators. Perez Hilton, understood something many traditional media companies did not. People weren't only interested in polished celebrity interviews, they wanted behind-the-scenes drama. Relationship rumors, feuds, fashion disasters, public meltdowns. He delivered all of it. His website became famous for heavily edited celebrity photographs. He often drew doodles, captions, and handwritten comments directly onto images, creating a style that readers instantly recognized. Some found it funny. Others considered it cruel. Either way, people kept clicking. And in the internet economy of the mid-2000s, clicks meant influence. His audience expanded internationally. Television producers invited him onto talk shows. Radio stations requested interviews. He began appearing at major Hollywood events. Ironically, the blogger who built a career criticizing celebrities had become a celebrity himself. Success also brought scrutiny. Many critics argued that Perez Hilton's content crossed ethical lines. His writing could be intensely personal, sometimes mocking appearances, sometimes repeating rumors that were later disputed. Some celebrities accused him of bullying. Others argued his website contributed to a culture where humiliation became entertainment. Supporters responded differently. They claimed Hollywood had always relied on gossip. Perez Hilton, they argued, was simply saying openly what tabloids had implied for years. The debate reflected a broader shift taking place across the internet. Where should the line be drawn between commentary and harassment, between criticism and cruelty? At the time, there were few clear answers. Several high-profile conflicts placed Perez Hilton directly in the headlines. Musicians criticized him publicly. Actors challenged his reporting. Television personalities refused interviews. Some celebrities confronted him face-to-face. Others simply ignored him. Yet every controversy seemed to generate even more attention. For years, controversy was not a threat to his business. It was the business, and his audience continued growing. Most entertainment reporters remained behind the scenes. Perez Hilton did the opposite. He inserted himself into celebrity culture. He appeared on reality television, hosted events, walked red carpets, recorded podcasts, published books, built a personal brand that extended far beyond his original website. His opinions became news in their own right. But success built on constant attention comes with an unavoidable challenge. The audience expects more opinions, more controversy, more access. The pace never slows, and eventually, the internet itself began changing. The era of independent celebrity blogs started fading. Social media platforms transformed how audiences consumed entertainment news. Readers no longer needed to visit a dedicated gossip website. News appeared instantly on Instagram, X, YouTube, Facebook, and later TikTok. The digital world Perez Hilton had helped shape was evolving, and so was the competition. By the early 2010s, the internet that had made Perez Hilton famous was changing faster than anyone expected. In the mid-2000s, readers had visited celebrity blogs directly, refreshing homepages throughout the day for the latest gossip. Perez Hilton had been among the biggest beneficiaries of that model, building a business around speed, personality, and constant updates. But the rise of social media transformed how entertainment news reached audiences. Instead of opening a gossip website each morning, people began scrolling through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and later TikTok. News traveled instantly through countless accounts, fan pages, and entertainment outlets. Every celebrity could now speak directly to millions of followers, without relying on bloggers or tabloids to tell their story. The gatekeepers of celebrity news were disappearing. Perez Hilton suddenly faced competition from everywhere. Entertainment websites multiplied. Social media creators broke stories within minutes. Traditional news organizations strengthened their online presence. Even celebrities began announcing engagements, breakups, album releases, and personal milestones on their own accounts before gossip sites could report them. The internet had become decentralized, and attention was harder to hold than ever before. As digital culture evolved, so did public attitudes toward online commentary. In the early years of celebrity blogging, harsh jokes and personal attacks were often dismissed as part of entertainment. By the late 2010s, however, conversations around cyberbullying, privacy, and mental health had become much more prominent. Many of the tactics that had once drawn millions of clicks were now being viewed through a different lens. Perez Hilton found himself confronting criticism not only from celebrities, but also from former readers. Over time, he publicly acknowledged that some of his earlier work had gone too far. In interviews and podcasts, he reflected on periods when his writing had been unnecessarily cruel and said he wanted to move toward a more balanced style of commentary. Those statements were welcomed by some observers, who saw them as signs of personal growth. Others remained skeptical, arguing that apologies could not erase the impact of years of aggressive celebrity coverage. The debate reflected a broader cultural question. How should society judge public figures who acknowledge past mistakes and attempt to change? There was no universal answer. Rather than relying solely on his website, Perez Hilton expanded into other forms of media. He launched podcasts. He produced YouTube content. He appeared on television programs. He accepted speaking engagements and interviews, often discussing not only celebrity news, but also the evolution of digital media itself. The shift required a different approach. Audiences increasingly wanted authenticity rather than anonymous commentary. Creators were expected to share more of their own lives, opinions, and vulnerabilities. Perez Hilton gradually became less of an unseen commentator and more of a public personality in his own right. His audience no longer visited simply for celebrity gossip. Many followed because they had become interested in his own story. Away from the headlines, another part of Perez Hilton's life began to shape his public image. He became a father and frequently spoke about how parenthood changed his priorities. In interviews, he described raising his children as the most important responsibility in his life. Family routines, school events, and everyday parenting experiences increasingly appeared alongside entertainment commentary on his social media platforms. For longtime followers, the contrast was striking. The outspoken blogger, who had built a reputation on celebrity scandals, was now sharing moments of family life and discussing the challenges of parenthood. Some viewers appreciated the change. Others continued to associate him primarily with the confrontational style that had defined his early career. Public perception remained divided. One challenge faced by many early internet personalities is that their previous work remains permanently accessible. Articles written years earlier can still be found. Old interviews resurface. Screenshots circulate. Comments made in one era are judged by the standards of another. Perez Hilton experienced this firsthand. Even as his content evolved, discussions about his earlier blogging style continued to follow him. Supporters argued that he had shown a willingness to reflect and change. Critics maintained that the harm caused by some of his past coverage should not be forgotten. Both perspectives became part of his public legacy. In many ways, Perez Hilton's career mirrored the internet itself. Innovative, influential, controversial, and constantly evolving. By the mid-2020s, Perez Hilton was no longer the singular force he had once been in celebrity gossip. The media landscape had become far more crowded. Thousands of creators now covered entertainment news across dozens of platforms. Yet his place in internet history remained significant. Media scholars and journalists frequently cited his website as one of the defining examples of early digital publishing. His influence extended beyond celebrity gossip. He demonstrated that an individual creator, working outside traditional news organizations, could build a global audience through personality and persistence. That model would later inspire countless bloggers, YouTubers, podcasters, and social media creators. Whether viewed as a pioneer, a provocateur, or both, Perez Hilton had undeniably helped shape the modern creator economy. His story reflected both the opportunities and the consequences of life lived online. Few figures have had as much influence on internet celebrity culture as Perez Hilton. At his height, millions of people visited his website each month. His writing helped define an era when blogs challenged traditional entertainment media and reshaped how celebrity news was consumed. His career also became a case study in the responsibilities that come with influence. Critics argued that some of his early work contributed to a culture of online harassment, while supporters viewed him as an outspoken commentator who changed entertainment journalism forever. Over time, Perez Hilton publicly reflected on parts of his career that he said he regretted and spoke about trying to move in a different direction. Whether those efforts changed public opinion remains a matter of debate, but they became an important part of his story. Then, in August 2026, Perez Hilton again became the subject of international headlines, not because of celebrity gossip, but because of concern for his well-being. Public reporting confirmed that emergency services responded after viewers raised concerns during one of his live streams. He was transported to a hospital for medical treatment. In the days that followed, members of his family issued a public statement thanking first responders, medical staff, and supporters while asking for privacy as he recovered. TikTok also removed his account following the incident in accordance with its policies. The events prompted renewed discussion about mental health, the pressures of living in the public eye, and the responsibility of online platforms and audiences when someone appears to be in crisis. Behind every public figure is a private person. Fame, criticism, and constant online attention can shape a life in ways that are not always visible from the outside. Perez Hilton's story is one of remarkable success, lasting influence, public controversy, personal evolution, and the challenges that can accompany decades spent in the spotlight. Whatever history ultimately concludes about his legacy, his impact on internet culture is undeniable. The world of celebrity media that exists today was shaped, in part, by the path he helped create. And perhaps that is the lasting lesson of his story. The internet never forgets. But people can grow, public conversations can change, and compassion remains essential, especially when someone's well-being is at stake. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office confirmed that deputies received multiple calls reporting that an individual was live-streaming apparent self-harm. According to the Sheriff's Office, deputies quickly identified the residence and determined that Perez Hilton was alone inside. Rather than rushing in immediately, responding officers followed crisis intervention protocols designed for mental health emergencies. In a public statement, the agency explained that in situations involving someone believed to be harming themselves, deputies often prioritize time, distance, communication, and de-escalation. Officials said this approach is intended to reduce the risk of injury and give trained personnel the best chance of resolving the crisis safely. Emergency responders ultimately reached Perez Hilton, and he was transported to a hospital for medical treatment. Multiple news organizations later reported that he was admitted under Florida's Baker Act, which permits temporary involuntary evaluation when someone is believed to present a danger to themselves or others. The following day, Perez Hilton's family released a public statement addressing the growing concern. They thanked the public for the overwhelming support, prayers, and messages of compassion they had received since the incident. The family confirmed that Perez Hilton was receiving medical care and said that he was able to communicate, describing that update as giving them hope during an extremely difficult time. They also asked the public to respect both Perez Hilton's privacy and the privacy of his children and family as he focused on recovery. The statement ended by thanking supporters for their understanding and compassion. As questions grew about how the live stream had remained visible, TikTok also issued a public response. The company stated that its automated systems had detected and flagged the live stream. However, it acknowledged that a moderation error delayed its removal. After the incident, TikTok permanently removed Perez Hilton's account for violating the platform's policies on content depicting or promoting self-harm. The company also faced criticism from users and digital safety advocates. many of whom questioned whether its moderation systems had acted quickly enough during a rapidly unfolding emergency. TikTok said it continued to review its procedures for responding to similar situations. For more than 2 decades, Perez Hilton had reported on the lives of celebrities. Now, the public conversation had shifted away from entertainment headlines and toward mental health, online responsibility, and compassion. News coverage in the days that followed focused not only on Perez Hilton's condition, but also on the challenges social media platforms face when responding to real-time crises. His story became a reminder that behind every public figure is a private individual, and that moments of profound personal distress should be met with care rather than spectacle. The story of Perez Hilton is, in many ways, the story of the internet itself. A young man with a laptop and an opinion built one of the most influential entertainment platforms in the world. He challenged traditional media, helped redefine celebrity journalism, and proved that an individual creator could command an audience once reserved for major television networks and publishing companies. But influence comes with consequences. Over the years, Perez Hilton became both a symbol of internet innovation and a lightning rod for criticism. Supporters saw a pioneer who changed media forever. Critics saw someone whose work often reflected a harsher era of online culture. Both perspectives became part of his legacy. As the internet evolved, so did public expectations. Conversations about privacy, accountability, mental health, and digital responsibility grew louder. The same online world that once rewarded controversy increasingly began asking deeper questions about its human cost. Perez Hilton spent much of his career commenting on the lives of others. Yet by August 2026, the attention had shifted to him. The public response that followed was notable for a reason. For perhaps the first time in years, debates about celebrity gossip, old controversies, and internet feuds were largely set aside. Instead, the overwhelming reaction was concern for a fellow human being facing a difficult moment. Family members asked for privacy. Supporters expressed hope for recovery. Mental health organizations encouraged compassion, and many people who had disagreed with Perez Hilton throughout his career still wished him well. In the end, the events of August 2026 did not erase the accomplishments, controversies, or debates that defined his public life. Nor did they provide simple answers to the questions surrounding his legacy. Instead, they served as a reminder that public figures are often viewed through headlines, opinions, and online personas, while the realities of their lives remain far more complicated. Perez Hilton's influence on digital media is undeniable. His career helped shape the modern celebrity news industry, influenced countless content creators, and demonstrated the power of independent publishing in the internet age. Whether remembered as a trailblazer, a provocateur, a cautionary tale, or some combination of all three, his place in internet history is secure. And perhaps that is where this story ultimately ends. Not with a scandal, not with a headline, but with a broader lesson about fame in the digital age. An age where attention can be earned in an instant, where reputations can rise and fall before millions of people, where every post, comment, and decision can echo for years, and where, behind every screen name, every celebrity, every influencer, and every public figure, there is still a human being whose story is often far more complex than the internet allows us to see. Perez Hilton's story is one of extraordinary success, public controversy, personal reflection, and the challenges of living under constant public scrutiny. Whether history remembers him as a pioneer, a provocateur, or both, his impact on internet culture is undeniable. As this story continues to unfold, it's important to separate verified facts from speculation and to remember that real lives are behind the headlines. If you found this documentary informative, consider subscribing for more in-depth documentaries covering the stories that shape our world. We focus on the facts, examine the evidence, and provide context behind the headlines. If you have thoughts about Perez Hilton's legacy or the evolution of celebrity media, share them respectfully in the comments below. Healthy discussion is welcome, but please remember that this story involves real people and an ongoing recovery.